In this video, we are going to be analyzing Ghazal number 4. First, as the tradition, I'm going to be reading the poem in Farsi and its literal translation in English. Then we're going to be analyzing it in depth. If you haven't watched our video on the hermeneutics of poetry, how to analyze poetry systematically, I highly recommend that you watch it because it's going to help you dissect the poem that you're analyzing and get into different deeper layers. But first, you always start with the apparent meaning. What is Rumi in this particular poem saying apparently, on appearance? What symbols, what metaphors is he using? What do those metaphors and symbols stand for? What do they symbolize? And if connected, what picture does that give us? What assumptions are there beneath every couplet? And what implications do those assumptions have? And put together, what implications does this analysis, this poem in particular, have for our daily life today in 2025 that I'm recording this, in our contemporary time? Let's analyze this beautiful poem and answer these questions. Rumi starts the first couplet with this: Ey Yusuf khoshnam ma, O you the noble Joseph. Usually when he uses the word Joseph, he's referring to God as like his beloved, the divine beloved as he names. Here he's speaking to God. By O the noble Joseph, Rumi means here at this hemistich of the first couplet that you are my beloved who is known for beautiful traits. Because Joseph was known with his beauty of character and beauty of actually appearance. He's referring to God as his beautiful. Then he says, Khosh mi ravi bar bam ma. How nicely you pass through my rooftop. What does that mean? Here, Rumi seems to be saying that you have dominated and conquered our existence. You have dominated my existence, my Rumi existence, and I have no control over myself. Ey dar shekaste jam ma, O you who have broken our cup, meaning that you, the divine beloved, you God, have broken our imaginal, illusory existence, the existence that we think we have, we are obsessed with, we are preoccupied with, that is the material world. You have shattered that, you have shown us beyond. Ey bar ریده دام ما, O you who have destroyed the snares of our existence, by which he doesn't use the word existence, this is the interpretation. Rumi is saying that you, God, have destroyed the limitations and determinations and the names and attributes that we are so occupied with in the material world, freeing us from these designations. Here, Rumi is, I think, referring to the change that came to his life by Shams. You know, Shams came and said, I want, other than how they met, Rumi said, I want to be your student. After some time, he accepted that. I'm not going to get into that. Now, how did Shams test Rumi? How did Shams destroy Rumi's limitations? He knew that if he wanted to test Rumi with money, well, he's not going to be not very bad at that. He doesn't care about money. He was searching for something far greater. He knew that if he wanted to test Rumi by his life, there was a high possibility that he was gonna submit his life, and he says that on many occasions during his poetry, in his poetry, that That's why he went somewhere that is very, very difficult for many people to let go. Name and our status, social status, religious, political status, and designations. Rumi was this famous scholar and the imam of a mosque before Shams. Shams came and said, well, you have wings. In a poem he says, I'm not gonna give you my wings. I'm not gonna give you spiritual wings. And Rumi says, fine, I will let go of my wings. He stopped being the imam. He stopped. He came from like kind of a comfortable family financially. He set aside many things. He set aside his religious, societal, and every status and attachments that he had. And he went into being a student of Shams Tabrizi. But how did Shams do that? How did Shams break him from his attachment? By targeting designations and his status. In a famous story we have that Shams asks Rumi to go and buy me wine and bring me. Like Rumi puts the container on his shoulder, walking through the city. Everybody is blaming what is going on. Is this our Imam? What did Shams Tabrizi do to him that our Imam is carrying wine, which is forbidden in Islam? Everybody is speaking to him angrily, some of them insulting. Shams comes and says, what are you doing? They say, well, Rumi, your disciple, is carrying wine. Look what you have done. He says, that's not wine. He opens the container and says it was vinegar. It wasn't vinegar normally, but at that moment it was. How does that happen? That's the miraculous power of Shams Tabrizi. But we don't care about that now. How did that happen? We don't care. There's an underlying message here, and that is that Shams went for targeted Rumi's attachments, worldly attachments, and he succeeded. That's how Rumi grew. He's saying that you broke my imaginal being, the I, the existence that I thought I'm having, that this is all it takes. In this world, you broke that, God, through Shams Tabrizi. And then you broke the snares, the traps in the material world, which are our attachments, our status, money. I'm a religious authority. I'm a scholar. I'm a good person. I'm such and such. You broke all those through Shams Tabrizi, and that's how I flourished, says Rumi. In the second couplet, Rumi said, Ey Noor ma, O our light, that is, O the beloved who have enlightened our existence, who have enlightened us from within. Ey Dawlat Mansoor ma, O who is our blessed fortune, Joshi beneh dar shore ma. Boil, put a boiling fire in our ecstasy, meaning that give us that love madness, increase our love madness, increase the flames of your love in our hearts. Following that, he says, Ta mi shavat angur ma, so that the grape turns into wine. They say that wine has to boil first, like the grapes have to boil to turn into wine. And Rumi is using that metaphorically, saying that in order for wine to come to its current status, it needs to boil. And for me, Rumi, and for humans to come to their full potentials, they need to go through fire, and that fire is the fire of love, which could be interpreted on different levels. But for one thing, that the madness that love brings. For another, it's the suffering and challenges and difficulties and trials that Rumi says specifically in another poem, that the moment you say, I'm in love, your trials will start. It's easy to be a worshipper of God, but it's not easy to be a lover of God. God plays hard to get, if I may. If you say, I'm in love, you're going to have trials. And Rumi refers to those as fires. You're going to turn me into like disclose my spiritual I, my real I to me, and help me unite with you through suffering, through challenges. In next couplet we have a dilbar و مقصود ما, oh the beloved who have stolen our heart and oh our aim, a qibla و معبود ما, you are our qibla, you are our God. Second hemstick is more important. آتش زدی در عود ما, you have set fire on our incense. Incense is the wooden beautifully smelling thing that we use in meditations. Actually, it is also like widely available and used in practices, like in different traditions, usually meditations and stuff. But what does that symbolize? For Rumi here, that incense refers to our body. He's referring to the human body as this wooden thing that is dry, lacks the potentials and power of spirit and the soul. So, آتش زدی در عود ما, you set fire on our incense, you set fire on our body, which could be interpreted as you helped us realize and transcend the limitations of our material body. Or your love was so fiery and so ecstatic that it made us, mad. The divine madness, that selflessness, so much that the heat of it I was even experiencing with my body. نظاره کن در دود ما. Now, he says, now, O you beloved, look at the smoke that is coming because of that fire you set on me. That is, look at the effect of that love you have gifted me with. He's not complaining, don't get me wrong. He is having that love game, that loved conversation here. You set fire on me. Look at me. I'm enjoying this, and I'm sure you're going to be enjoying it because you love to pull your lovers towards you, and you know that this love, this fire is going to help me reach you. In the next couplet we have یار ما, یار ما, دام دل خمار ما, O our friend, O our noble one, O you who are like a snare to our drunken heart. پا وا مکش از کار ما, بستان گرو دستار ما. Do not withdraw yourself from our love game, from our affair, from our relationship. Meaning that do not take away your love from me. What I have now, the love that you have uncovered to me is what I have earned after suffering and trials and going through lots of difficulties. Please, oh please do not take it away from me. I need it. I have earned it. He's not claiming this in this narcissistic, egoistic way that I'm explaining, but you get the point. Bestan gero dastar ma, he adds. That is, take our turban as collateral. What does that mean? In this part, I think, by turban, he's referring to his social, religious, authoritative status, his authority in general. If I want to get to you, if I want to get closer to you, I need to sacrifice things, and I'm ready for that. I'm ready to sacrifice my social, religious, scholarly status represented by this turban. Consider the collateral, consider the gift. I'm going to be giving it to you. I don't want that. I want you and only you, says Rumi. Finally, he says, در گل بمانده پای دل جام میدهم چه جای دل. We are trapped, but trapped in a positive sense. We are enslaved in a positive sense in the divine love. My heart is enslaved in the divine love. I cannot escape. I don't want to escape. جام میدهم چه جای دل. For my beloved, I would submit my life, let alone giving my heart. Giving heart in Persian poetry and Persian language in general represents falling in love with someone. It says, if you want me to give you my heart, submit my heart, fall in love with you, not only I will do that, but I will also submit my life to you. If you wish me to grant you my death, I'm ready to do that right now. از آتش سودای ما ای وای دل ای وای ما. And from the fire of the love's, from the fire of the heart's love, alas the heart, alas us, there is so much fire going on because of this love. There is so much ecstatic madness waving through my heart. So much, so magnificent and so great that I can't even begin to explain to you. It's just, alas my heart, alas us, we are gone. The lovers are burning in the divine fire. Now, first we went with the apparent translation, the apparent meaning of the poem. Then we went through another deeper layer, that is the poem's interpretation. What do those symbols mean? And how what hidden meaning is behind those couplets? We got through that. Now, there is one more thing. There are two more things. Number one, what implications are hidden beneath the hidden assumptions in the poem? Let's now analyze that, and then we're going to analyze what implications does this poem have in our contemporary time. The first assumption in this poem is that the Divine Beloved is the ultimate source of enlightenment and liberation. And in order to, like, its implication being that in order to achieve true wisdom and awakening, one must surrender completely to the Divine Beloved, to God, because that is the true and the main channel through which you will find liberation and enlightenment. Another implication it could have is that the pursuit of material success or worldly recognition, societal labels, are secondary. They are not the primary thing that one should be seeking. This assumption could also imply that a true seeker of enlightenment must detach from ego and societal norms, and not in a radical sense, societal labels, to experience authentic self-realization. That's not going to come to us easily. It requires sacrifice in several levels. The second assumption is that human existence, as it conventionally perceived, is an illusion or trap. This has so many implications that we can't even go through all of them, but one of them is that the self, as defined by external achievements and identities, is a mere illusion and must be transcended. Societal norms and religious institutions, interestingly, even religious institutions in the sense of limited representations of religion, not the true institutions, of course, and even personal ambitions, can act as barriers to spiritual freedom. This could also suggest that true existence lies beyond conventional understanding of selfhood and reality. So there is going to be a great shift in perspective concerning ourself, that is changing our self-awareness, and also the reality, God awareness, cosmos awareness. It shakes your entire understanding of yourself, the world, and God. This understanding, the thing that Rumi is trying to do, and the thing that Shams Tabrizi did to Rumi, changing his identity and perception of himself and everything. A third assumption here, which is quite clear, is that divine love is both painful and transformative. It's not just a beautiful force that you will experience on this path, smelling flowers and enjoying everything. It's going to bring challenges, which implies that to gain spiritual enlightenment, to have spiritual growth, you're going to go through suffering. You're going to go through challenges. Suffering is a scary word. Let me lighten that. You're going to have to go through challenges, a cuter word. And that's kind of a test for you to reach divine enlightenment and to attain divine love. God is not going to give you that love easily. Another implication this could have is that pain, when experienced through love for a divine, is not a burden but necessary step towards self-purification. And passion and longing for a divine create a state of madness. Yet this madness is the highest form of wisdom, in the sense that in spirituality, in Sufism especially, when we say divine love's madness, we refer to that selflessness that divine wine or divine love brings about. A selflessness that in which you are so absorbed into God, into your divine beloved, that you don't epistemically, not existentially, that you don't epistemically realize what's going on. What they call it, fana'i fillah, annihilation is God, which is a terrible, terrible translation because it's a misleading, accurate translation, but terrible in terms of its misleading. There is no ontological destruction in fana'i fillah. It's an epistemic, overwhelming force of divine love that makes you epistemically lose your awareness of yourself and your individual existence. That's what we call love's madness, love's selflessness. And that is not a burden at all. It's the gate to attaining wisdom and divine union. A further assumption is detachment from worldly possessions and roles is necessary for spiritual progression, spiritual growth, implying that one must be willing to sacrifice material comfort, reputation, and even personal identity to achieve higher understanding. We are so attached to our, not just the world, that's a given, but there are subtler things. Many have already transcended that being stuck in the luxurious things, not just for religious reasons, for ethical, humanitarian reasons as well. But still, many of us are still stuck with the subtler things. Another implication for the contemporary individual in this poem is Rumi's acceptance of suffering as a path of growth. Today, we do our best to avoid pain and struggle and suffering, and we cannot succeed, and we do not actually succeed. Life has taught us that there are some sufferings that have not come to go, they have come to stay, and some of them are really, really crushing. There is no point in denying, saying that no, everything is God's grace, so what you're seeing is illusory. No, it's not illusory. Some of them are what Rumi calls foolish suffering, the sufferings that we bring on ourselves by perceiving the world and ourselves in the wrong way. But there are some sufferings that are real, a cancer, schizophrenia. There is no illusion here. They are real, painful experiences. But Rumi's lens helps us find meaning in that difficulty, in that challenge. His view shows us that suffering is helping us become a better person morally and spiritually, and achieve divine wisdom and enlightenment, and finally divine union. This way the problem does not go away, that suffering does not go away. Suffering is there, it's just that Rumi gives us a framework through which we find meaning for that suffering, which makes tolerating it easier. Not only tolerating it easier, but also accepting it and as part of our existence. This shouldn't be interpreted as pacifism, like saying, okay, we cannot do anything about these difficulties, let's not do anything. That's not the case. You should fight with difficulties, but life has taught us that there are some difficulties that you cannot solve. I'm specifically targeting those problems, and they are here to stay. There is no cure for schizophrenia. All you can do is take pills to bring yourself to a normal-ish state. There is no final cure. So what are you gonna do? Let's say your brother or sister is suffering from that. What you gonna do? Rumi gives you a framework. That person is connected to God. schizophrenia is one of the most horrific sicknesses it has been throughout history, and it still is. We don't have a cure for that. The person doesn't recognize the boundaries of reality. They cannot even distinguish what is real or what is not. But spiritually, they are connected. They are in a level that we, even through academia, cannot even dream of achieving because of the sacrifice they have had. They have had existential and mental and spiritual, everything that you can imagine. They have submitted everything. Some of them willingly, some of them as part of their unwilling trial. There is meaning, there is depth, there is spiritual growth for Rumi. I'm giving you the most intense, one of the most intense cases. There is no point in denying these difficulties, but embracing them with this mentality. Another implication is the critique of superficial religious practices that we are seeing it all over the world today. Rumi's rejection of rigid religious roles suggests that true spirituality is found in direct experience with the divine rather than in ritualistic adherence. Again, don't get me wrong, there are institutionalized religions, and they have a set of rules. There is for example, talking about Islam, there is the external aspect of Islam governed by Sharia law, that is the divine law. An internal aspect, Islamic mysticism, call it Sufism or Irfan for Shiism. Whatever you name it, there is this duality. And there are some Sufis who reject the Sharia law, the external laws, completely, saying that we are engaging only with the internal aspect. Did Prophet do that? Did his companions do that? No, they didn't. There should be a balance. Actually, the Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, his companions, and in Shiism for the Imams, they were perfect practitioners of the external aspects of Islam. They are perfect practitioners of the Islamic law. And for many mystics and some Sufis, the external aspect of Islam is actually a door to enter the inner aspect. You cannot start, in most cases, directly with jumping into the inner aspect of Islam. You say, oh, I'm perceiving reality. That's not going to happen in most cases. In most cases, you're going to have to walk through some steps, and those steps are usually designed by God. That's the whole point of sending prophets and books through these external aspects of religion, the guidelines that we are given. Another implication this poem has is that, well, in a world that we are so distracted and there are every kind of distractions bombarding us, like the king of all social media, which can be used positively, but mostly people don't. Rumi's path can help us find solace and peace and meditate the divine and connect with the divine amidst this noise. There is too much noise going on. It helps us have this control, not extreme, controlled solitude, where we have attention, presence of mind, where we have that locking our mind upon a higher being, a transcendental being, or even ourselves with God awareness, and meditating. And that meditation brings peace and helps you connect with the divine beloved. There are so many other assumptions and implications that could be drawn from the poem. I just pointed to some of them. What are some things that I missed? You could enlighten us in the comments. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it could shed some light on this beautiful yet short poem. Looking forward to having you in other videos. Thank you very much for watching. May the divine light enlighten your path.